Hello and welcome to this video tutorial where we are going to make a crochet string of hearts plant that is sitting in a macrame holder. I made this pattern for myself because I really wanted something that would hang in my car above my dashboard, specifically from my rearview mirror, and this plant exceeded my expectations. I've also made a crochet string of pearls that you can watch the video tutorial for. Here is the crochet string of hearts. It is so fun because you can wrap the little string of hearts around itself so the plant really looks like there's a ton of vines. And a little about this pattern, it's definitely a beginner pattern if you're watching the videos over and over again, but I would definitely say this is an intermediate pattern because I'm not going into the stitches in depth. I'm kind of explaining the pattern like you already know the stitches, but that's okay because I have made crochet stitches video tutorials that you can watch. I've linked them in the description, and you are free to watch those videos to get the hang of the stitches, to see how they're done over and over again so that you can repeat it with your yarn and your crochet hook. All that being said, I would definitely say that understand the stitches first and then try to tackle this pattern. But you can always speed down this video and see how I'm crocheting to understand how this pattern is made. So this is the pattern and I love this. I make it for anyone who says they love plants, and it's just like such a cute little size. I think the colors go very well together. So there are 7 string of hearts that I am going to make for my plant, but you are free to make however many strings you want. You can make so many, you can make just 7 or not even 7. It's really up to you for this pattern, and you can definitely customize it however you wish. You can always also make the pot a different color because we're going to make the soil and pot 2 different pieces, and then we're going to attach them. So you can definitely make this crochet string of hearts in different colors too. So let's get into the pattern. To start, the materials you will need will be a 4mm crochet hook, polyfill stuffing, scissors, yarn in 3 different colors. We will be using 10 white for the macrame hanger to hold the pot and the string of pearls plant, and then the green color will be 140 mild green, and then the pot will be in toasted almond. You will also need stitch markers and a darning needle for this pattern. The abbreviations we're going to be using for this pattern will be MR for magic ring, SC for single crochet, HDC for half double crochet, DC for double crochet, INC for increase, BLO for back loop only, SLST for slip stitch, and CH for chain. To start making this plant pattern, we're going to start with making the pot. And to do this, we're going to create a magic ring and then single crochet 6 stitches into the magic ring. So this is just me starting off. I created the magic ring and now I'm single crocheting 6 individual single crochet stitches. And then I'm going to close the magic ring, and next we're going to increase. Round 2 is going to be an increase round, so every stitch should now have 2 stitches inside of it to make 12 stitches total. So I'm just going to, into the first stitch, single crochet 2 stitches. And typically on the second round of any magic ring I don't have a stitch marker. I just count to the number I need in my head, and then from the 3rd round and on, that's when I put a stitch marker in. So you won't see a stitch marker in this 2nd round, but I will put it in shortly. Okay, and now that we have those 12 stitches, I'm going to start on round 3, which is a single crochet 1 increase round that's repeated. So here I've single crocheted the first stitch, and now I'm putting my stitch marker in, and then I'm increasing into the next stitch, and then this is just repeated until I reach the stitch marker. Single crochet 1, increase 1. And now that's the end of round 3. We're going to move on to round 4, which is single crochet 1, increase, and then single crochet 2, increase, and then you do that until you reach one more stitch. So here is me single crocheting the first stitch, and then I'm going to increase on the next stitch, and then I'm going to work continuously the single crochet 2 increase stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then this stitch will be increased, and this will be repeated. And now I'm going to start the single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then increase. And then this is again just repeated. And then this is the last single crochet 2 increase, so there's 1, and this is 2, and then we increase, and then we single crochet into the last stitch, and that's the end of round 4. Now for round 5 is a single crochet 3 increase into all of the stitches in the round, so that's going to be repeated throughout the round, which is single crochet 3 increase. We're single crocheting 1 into the next 3 stitches, and then increase on that 4th stitch. And what we're crocheting now is the bottom of the pot. We are going to work creating the sides after this round. And now we're going to increase on this last stitch. Now we're moving on to round 6, which we're going to start double crocheting. We're going to do 1 double crochet into each stitch, and this will start to create a pot shape the more rounds we do. So this is just the first double crochet, and then we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, which is just a double crochet, and that is just repeated all throughout each of these stitches. But we are going to do this in the back loop only. So only in the back loop are you double crocheting for this round. So double crochet, and then I'll meet you back to start the next round. So now we're going to start round 7, and this is just double crocheting, and you're not going to do this in the back loop only, you're going to do this in the stitch. So you're going to put your stitch through both of the loops. So that is what we're doing for the next 4 rounds, rounds 7 through 10. So do that, and then I will meet you back when we finish this pot, and you'll definitely see the shape start to take shape. It may take a minute for it to curve up to create definitely a circle pot, but the more rounds you make, the more pot-like the pot will be. And I will speed it up just because I don't want you to watch every stitch, but know that I'm doing it at the same time. Okay, and now we've finished round 7 through 10, so this is what your pot should look like. And to finish, we are going to single crochet 1 and then slip stitch 1. So into the next stitch, I'm going to just remove the stitch marker first, and then single crochet 1 into the next stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And this is just me trying to create a seamless bind off. So we're also going to tie off and leave a tail about 36 inches long. So it's recommended you have a tape measure. You don't necessarily need one, but just measure about 36 inches, which is more than enough, but you want to have more than not enough. So cut or pull the crochet hook up, and that should tie off the yarn. Perfect. So that's your pot. Now let's move on to the soil. So to start with the soil, you're going to do the same exact thing you did for the pot, which is the first round single crocheting 6 stitches into a magic ring. So this is just starting the magic ring. And then we're going to single crochet 6 stitches into this magic ring and pull tight to secure. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now that we have 6, you can see we have 6 by counting the V's. And then pull that tight, and that secures our magic ring. And we're going to now increase into all of those 6 stitches to get 12 total stitches. So into each stitch, increase. So this is our first stitch we're increasing into. There's our first increase stitch. There's 1, 2 stitches into the same stitch, and repeat that throughout the round. And again, I don't like to use a stitch marker in the second round just because I think it kind of gets in the way, but also I just like to count until the number I need for the second round, and then I start using a stitch marker in the third round. So now that we've completed our increase stitches, we're going to do single crochet 1 into the first stitch, and then we're gonna insert our stitch marker into this stitch. So there's us inserting the stitch marker, and now we're going to increase. So this is going to be continued throughout the round, which is single crochet 1, increase, until we reach the stitch marker. Perfect, you just completed that round. Now we're going to move on to round 4, which is single crochet 1, insert your stitch marker, and then we're going to increase, and then single crochet 2, increase, and then single crochet 1 into the last stitch. So this is the increase, and then we're going to move on to single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then increase, and then repeat that until we reach the last stitch. So here we're increasing, and then on the final stitch we're going to single crochet 1 to end the round. And then on this next round, round 5, we're going to work in the round single crochet 3, increase. So single crochet 1, or insert our stitch marker, and then single crochet 2, single crochet 3, and then increase. And this is what's repeated until we reach the stitch marker. So single crochet 1, single crochet 2, single crochet 3, and then increase, and then start it all over until we reach the stitch marker. So now this is our final increase, and then to bind off, this is our soil, but to bind off we're going to slip stitch 1. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through that stitch. And then again, tie off by leaving a tail about 36 inches long. It's more than we need, but it's better to have more than not enough. Perfect. So then again, pull your crochet hook through so the yarn is secure, and then that is your soil piece, and we will get started on the heartstrings next. Now to make our heartstrings, we're going to use the 140 mild green yarn color, and we're going to first make a foundation chain. I made a slip knot to start, and then I'm going to chain 4 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to make the hearts along this vine or string. And to do so, I'm going to make 2 double crochets into that second to last chain. So I'm going to make 2 double crochets in this stitch, or in this chain. So there's 1. And then we need 1 more in that same chain, and this is the second. And then we're going to half double crochet 2 stitches into the next chain, working down to that first chain we made. So here's the first half double crochet, and then the second half double crochet. And then in the next chain, we're going to single crochet 1. And then we're going to chain 2. And flipping our work over to work on the other side of the heart, we're going to do the same process but backwards. We're going to single crochet 1. So single crochet 1, and then in the next chain we're going to half double crochet 2. And there should be little holes that you can visually see that you should insert your chain into, but we also don't want to make these holes super big. So here's the second half double crochet. And now we're going to double crochet 2 into that next chain area. So here's the first one, oops, and then here is the second one. And now to close these hearts, there should be a little chain you can see right here that we're going to insert our hook into and slip stitch into it. And that kind of closes the heart. And now we're going to chain 10 to make the next heart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we start that all over again by double crocheting 2 into the second to last chain. So this is the 2 double crochets, only making 3 hearts on this string. And again, to finish this heart, you're going to slip stitch the heart closed and then chain 10. I'm going to tie my yarn, like cut my yarn, tie off after I hit those 10 chain stitches and leave a tail about 12 inches long. So here is my chained and hearted string, and now I'm going to leave a tail about 12 inches long so that I have enough string on the end to tie to the back of the soil to make it look like the plant is growing out of the soil. And after you've cut your yarn, just make sure to pull that loop through so that that secures the yarn, and then just continue this for all 7 strings you have, making sure that you have all 7 strings by the time you are ready to attach them to the soil. But before we attach them to the soil, you're going to take the end attached to the first heart, not the chain stitches, but the heart, and tie it in, because we do not want this exposed when we tie our strings to the soil, because I think we'll just get confused overall, and it's one less thing you have to do at the end. So doing this will seamlessly hide your ends, and voila! And this is what your string of hearts should look like after you've crocheted 7. And I am now ready to attach these 7 strings to my soil piece. So taking my soil piece, my 7 strings, and a darning needle, as well as some scissors, I'm going to attach the 7 strings to the soil piece. And in doing so, we're going to attach them with the string that's attached to the chain side of the string of hearts, put that string through our darning needle, and then feed it from the right side to the back side of our soil. It doesn't matter where you place the string of hearts, it just matters that they're sporadic and placed evenly throughout the soil piece. You don't want these strings to be lopsided on one side of the soil, because then there's just going to be too much top heaviness on that side of the plant. But yes, just feed the string from the right side to the wrong side and then tie it to whatever string is closest. For the first one, you're going to tie it to the soil piece that's still on the back side, but as you attach the second, third, fourth, fifth string, just tie that piece or that string to whatever string is closest. In this case, I'm attaching it to the soil piece as well, but do whatever works for you. This is your plant at the end of the day, and do whatever is going to make you happiest with how it looks. If you want to crochet more than 7 strings, I totally am up for that, and I would love to see how that looks, but personally, I think 7 strings is best for me. So I'm going to speed this up because it does create a time-consuming loop of mindlessly watching me tie strings together, but you can totally see the vision coming together as you keep tying them. And it doesn't matter which string you tie at once, because these are all different lengths. They're all just going to be sporadic and look like it's an actual plant that's growing. So just tie them wherever makes you happy. And I will talk to you after you've attached all your strings to your soil. Okay, so now I'm done attaching my soil piece and my strings together, and look how beautiful it's looking. I'm like obsessed with it, and I can't wait to attach the pot now. Okay, so now that we have our strings tied to our soil, we're going to take our pot and feed the end that's attached to the pot through your darning needle, and now we're going to attach this to our soil piece. And in doing so, you're also going to need your stuffing, because we will be tying this pot closed, so we'll need to stuff the pot. So we're going to attach using a whip stitch, and matching the ends that we binded off, we're going to feed our darning needle through both stitches, as you can see here. So I'm going to feed my needle through, and there should be 2 loops on my needle, and then doing the same with the soil piece, I'm going to feed my yarn through So there's two loops on my needle as well. And I'm just going to pull through. As tight as I can. And then we're just going to repeat this around, matching the stitches up and feeding the needle through so that there will be 4 loops on the needle. And this creates a whip stitch. Pull as tight as you can, but also not too tight, but tightly enough that it's secure. I think you'll get the hang of it once you keep doing it. Also, it does not matter that the soil piece is a little smaller than the pot because they both have the same amount of stitches, so it's going to work out. So keep doing this around the pot until you see there are about 8 stitches left, and then we are going to stuff our pot with stuffing. And also along the way, you can tuck in the string that is under the soil that is attaching the soil and the strings together. That's just going to be extra stuffing for us, and we don't need to cut those off. Okay, I would say there's about 8 stitches left with my pot and my soil, so I'm going to stuff until the pot is pretty firm. I don't think there's a specific amount of stuffing you necessarily need to put into your pot. Like, you definitely know when it's understuffed, but you know when it's overstuffed. Just make sure it's the way you like it, and it will be able to sit in a macrame holder nicely. So I think I've stuffed it enough to where I like it, so I'm just going to continue doing the whip stitch around until I get to the last stitch. And typically on the last stitch, I like to do the same thing I've been doing around but twice so that I know it's extra secure. So I will meet you at the end. So now I'm at the end of my pot and I'm going to finish the whip stitch, but I'm going to do this twice because I just want it to be extra secure. And then I'm going to leave a loop at the end and put my darning needle through there and pull through to create a little bit of a knot. And then to tie off my yarn, I'm just going to insert my darning needle through my pot and pull through and then cut wherever the extra yarn is that is hanging out. In this case, it's at the bottom of the pot, and I'm going to cut, and then that's my pot and my plant, and now we just have to make the macrame holder. Now we are going to make the macrame holder that will hold our pot with the strings attached. To do so, we are going to use our white yarn and get a measuring tape if you have one, but we are going to cut 8 pieces of yarn that are 36 inches long. And with this, I just measured my first string 36 inches, and then I just used that string to cut the other 7 pieces. Okay, now that you have all 8 pieces, we are going to lay them all so they are about the same length. It doesn't matter if they're perfect or not, but we are going to then tie a knot along one of these ends. Specifically, we're going to call this the bottom end, which is where the pot is going to sit within the macrame hanger. And I usually tie this knot about a 1/2 inch from the raw edge. So from the end, there should be about a 1/2 inch of the string from the knot. And again, this will be the bottom of the holder. And it doesn't matter if all the strings are about the same length because we can always use our scissors to cut them to look like they are. Okay, and now that we have that knot, we are going to place the knot in the center and separate 2 strands each to form an X. So the center of the knot should be in the intersection of the X, with 2 strings each forming the 4 sides of an X. So in each of these 2 strands, we're going to say that is 1 strand now. and you should tie a knot about 1.5 inches away from the bottom knot on all 4 strands now. But now that we have that one knot, we're going to repeat that on all 4 strands so that these 2 strands are connected into one now. And now that we have all 4 knots, we are going to take one strand from each of those strands and tie them together. And this is also going to be about 1.5 inches away from the knot we just made. So now that we have our other 4 groups of 2 strands, we're going to tie knots that are again 1.5 inches away from the previous knot we just made. And we're going to repeat this on all 4 strands. And that is the end of our bottom of the macrame holder. But to attach all 4 together, we are going to need to tie a knot at the top. Now that we have our plant in the holder, we need to tie a knot at the very top of the macrame holder. And this is all dependent upon how high you want the macrame holder to be and how high, just the proportions of where the plant is and where the macrame hangs from. It can be a short macrame holder or it can be a long one. It's all dependent upon what you like. It may be a bit of a mess trying to get the strings to flow out of the macrame holder, but just work with it and it'll all work out. So I again tied a knot about 1 inch now from the opposite side of the macrame holder to the raw edge of the strings. And voila, you have your plant. It may not look pretty right now, but just keep working with the strings and it'll be amazing. And you've finished your plant. Thank you so much for watching this video pattern on how to make your crochet string of hearts. I can't wait to see what yours looks like, and definitely tag me in social media or DM me if you don't want to post, but I'm by Creative State on every platform you can think of. I would love to see what your crochet string of hearts looks like. And also don't forget to watch more video tutorials because we can never have enough crochet things in life.